flowing through a pipeline produces as much CO2 as 300 to 500 diesel 18-wheeler truckloads a day? Mr. Helms, simple yes or no?
Well, Congressman Weber, I don't believe that it does.
Thanks. Mr. McCowan?
Does not.
Mr. Swift? Your mic is not on.
Right. Truck transport is more energy intensive than pipeline.
So you'd agree that it does produce more CO2. Mr. Knappenberger?
Yes, I agree.
You agree. Thank you. Next question for the panel. An industry safety rating of 99.999,525% safe. Mr. Helms, are you aware of any other industry that has that kind of safety record?
Mr. Congressman, I am not aware of that.
Thanks, Mr. McCowan.
I'm not, and I think that will
Mr.
even
Swift?
go higher.
Industry is hoping to improve that record. When you think about the amount of oil
I'll take that as a
spilled.
no, Mr. Knappenberger.
I don't know of any, no.
I don't either. Next question. Mr. Swift, you said that the likelihood, it seemed like you raised a lot of discussion about the likelihood of the bitumen oil leaking. And so that seems to be a great degree of your argument against the pipeline is based on the leakage. So you're not as concerned about the climate issues as you are the leakage. Is that fair to say?
No, we're also very concerned about the climate.
More so than the leakage?
I would say one of the primary environmental impacts is the climate issue.
Well, that's one of your primary environmental impacts. So if we can make the pipeline safer, and if we can make climate emissions lesser, then you'd be good?
Yeah, if we lower the climate emissions and make the pipeline
Great.
safer.
Are you familiar with an acronym BACT, B-A-C-T?
You may have to refresh my memory.
Mr. Helms, do you know what BACT stands for?
Yes, Mr. Congressman, it's best available control technology.
Okay. And so is it safe to say that while we're developing, using this bitumen, that we can improve our BACT, our best available control technology, so that we can reduce those emissions? In fact, I'm somewhat amused by your discussion with my colleague from California, talking about bitumen and how there wasn't any, much experience in moving it and all those implications. Because if we refrained from new innovations, indeed, y'all would not be so intent on green technology, would you not? Solyndra wouldn't have got $500 million because they didn't have a track record, no experience. So the truth of the matter is, in my opinion, that this very pipeline that comes into my district, by the way, and it's not Houston, it's Port Arthur, Nederland, Texas, down on the Gulf Coast, where XL Pipeline terminates, just FYI. Under that assumption, the fact that we don't know how to handle bitumen, we would have never, ever embarked upon trying to improve on batteries, on wind power, on solar power, because we don't have that experience. I'm amused, Mr. Swift, that you said after the Kalamazoo spill in 2010, there have not been any innovations. I'm thinking, my gosh, only somewhat 3 years later, there's no innovations, and yet in your very discussion points, you say that you're concerned about the pipeline going out 50 years. And how long out do we worry about global warming?
Quite some time.
Quite some time, yet you're lamenting the fact that there's no new innovations in handling bitumen over the scant 2 or 3 years. That seems antithetical to me. How many of y'all saw, did any of y'all see the article in the Wall Street Journal yesterday about California, Texas producing oil? No? Okay. Well, let me make this point. My time is running short here. Texas produces more oil than the next 4 oil-producing states combined. California has been oil averse, as my colleague over here said, people that were against everything about fossil fuel, basically, in his tenure. Texas' unemployment rate is 6.4%, while California's is 9.4%. Texas has been the recipient of taxes of $20 billion from the oil industry and has no income tax, while California has an income tax rate and a capital gains tax rate of 13.3%. So the economic impact for our working Americans are huge. I'm out of time. We need this pipeline. Mr. Chairman, I yield back 8 seconds.
8 seconds. Thank you, Mr. Weber. We now turn to Ms. Brownlee from California.